Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Really excited today to update you guys on our progress with the lower level layout here in our Lego room. We've been working on a number of track modules using mills and really excited with where we've gotten to. Our 6 corner modules that we were working on are all finished now, and with the exception of one of them, they're all integrated already into the lower layout here. You can see some of the track here. I'll give you guys a close-up and a tour around all of the track on the lower layout in a few minutes. But, it's been a lot of work. This is roughly 112 base plates that have gone into the 2 T-junction track modules over there, and then the 6 corner modules, 4 of which are over here, and then 2 of which are on the far side of the big part of the undertable layout over there. The only module that's missing is this corner over here, which is done, but it needs a little bit of extra tile work to properly feed the switch off into the main layout there. So I'll be integrating that a little bit later, but I'll show you where it is at the moment, what state it's in, and you'll see it's pretty close, so I'm hopeful that that will be integrated soon. But that will give us basically our full winter village loop and sort of track system over here. And it'll put us well on our way to having the main loop over there fully connected. We are going to have to go through, do a bit more straight track mills work, and we have our monster crossovers to mount onto mills plates, but really getting close to a place where we can have a fully connected rail system on our lower layout here, which is amazing. It's been a lot of fun getting to this point, and really excited to get to that point where we can start to have a fully mills layout down here, and start adding to it with new buildings, new track modules, etc. Should be a lot of fun. So let's take a quick tour around the undertable layout here so you guys can see where everything's at and what is still to come. Now, the first thing worth noting, we should take a look here at the Winter Village corner modules that have all gone in. I think these are looking great. Obviously, the one section left so that we can hook up to the T-junction over there, which will give us mainline access from over here. But really happy with how this is coming together, and it's going to now allow us to start doing some Winter Village and general snow train themed buildings over in that middle area there and around the exterior of these modules where there's space. So really happy to be getting to a point where we can start to do some supporting work around the track, and there's a lot of cool stuff to come there. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Also really looking forward to starting to put some winter scenes and vegetation, landscape, etc. around the modules here. Now, one thing I will show you here that I think is really exciting as well and is coming along well. On the track, I've started to put in the Trix Bricks plate for the railway ties, and you can see I'm using the snow version of their printed railway ties, and I think it looks amazing. Can't wait till we work this into the rest of the track under here. But it's currently on this one corner module on the R120 track. I think it adds a lot, and it's going to be pretty cool to see that extended throughout the entire Winter Village track network. So excited about that. I think we've got enough to do most of the track under here in the Winter Village. We might need to get a follow-up order to fill out just some straggler bits of track. But, looking forward to seeing that as it continues to come together. And I think then once we start to get the Winter Village themed trains and the Christmas trains, etc., running over here in conjunction with the snowy tracks, the buildings that are going to start to go into the middle area here, I think this is going to become a pretty cool part of the layout. And, I think these railway ties really add a lot to that overall look and feel. So excited to see how the rest of this section starts to come together. But really nice to see these corner modules here. A great start and a fun milestone, because it just opens up a lot more projects that we can work on over on this part of the layout. And like I said, we've got one corner module still left to move down to the lower layout there. Like I mentioned, it will need a little bit of work to fill out the transition point from the switch out to the mainline track. Don't think that'll be too hard to get set up. We'll do that work probably pretty much in place in the undertable layout, just so that we get everything, sort of precisely put in place for the geometry of the track there. But really happy with how these corner modules have come together. And you can see from this an example of the tile work that we've done under each of the corner modules and really just under each of the track modules in general. A lot of work and a lot of pieces, but really helps the track sit nicely on the Mills modules and helps them to interface correctly with other Mills modules. So happy with how this has come together. It's really taxed our part inventory. I'd ordered a lot of parts for this and we still came up a bit short, but we were able to work through a number of extra bits of parts that I had in our Acro Mills containers and just in sort of our general part storage, and really happy with, now being able to get all of these corner modules in place under the layout. And I think as we pick up some additional parts, we'll be able to swap anything out that looks off once the track is mounted on there. But, lots of work here, but really happy with the outcome and how awesome each of these corner modules looks. In particular, just fun to see the snowy versions of these corner modules. Looking forward to seeing what types of scenery and landscape we're able to put in around these corner modules, and just the Winter Village modules in general should really add a lot, but a great starting point here. And worth noting, this is the last section on the tabletop layout where the track is currently missing. So once these last modules come off and go to the undertable layout over there, I will get the track back on the underneath corner. That'll come back online, and then we are pretty close, not perfectly ready to run trains, but getting pretty close at that point. All the track will be back in, and it's just a matter of clearing out the last of the Mills modules that are stored up here on the table at the moment, and moving the last of the Bricklink part order containers and packaging off the layout so that we can get trains running again and make sure that everything's looking good heading into the train show that we're displaying at next weekend. Now heading back under the tabletop layout, looking at the two new corner modules that I've got over here in the lower level mainline area. I think these have come together really nicely and quite happy with the way they look. Obviously, there's a few spots where we had to fill in some miscellaneous pieces because we ran out of specific colors, but I think the modules still look great. And as we get those parts in, we'll do swap outs to just tidy up some of those coloring inconsistencies. But really happy with the look of both of these corner modules. I think they look really nice in green as well, and happy to have them color matched with the T-junction modules on the far end there. Now, still lots to do over here. Obviously, we want to get the interior corner modules finished up. We've got a number of things to do for that, both on this end and at the far end over there. Once we've got the corner modules all in and looking the way that we want, the other modules that still need to be converted down here are the straight tracks and the monster crossovers. This is going to be another big push. It'll use up a bunch of the Mills modules that we still have around the Lego room waiting to be used. So looking forward to that process of getting these things converted over. But it's also going to take a large chunk of parts. So we'll have to do a few more parts orders before we can fully embark on the conversion of these two modules here in particular over to Mills, but definitely the next big thing to happen down here, and should be a lot of fun getting these modules mounted. And it'll make them, a lot easier to take out to shows and a lot easier to move around in the layout and Lego room here as we change up designs over time. Now, from the interior of the layout, you can see the two T-junction modules mounted on Mills. We talked about these in a recent video, but really happy with how they've come together. I think they look awesome and can't wait to start getting trains running through these components of our lower level track here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, these are coming out, well, at least one of these, and potentially either the other one or the one on our tabletop layout will be coming out to the train show we're displaying at next weekend. So it'll be awesome to have two of them out at a train show for the first time. I think they will, here we're using a subset of their functionality based on where they're located, but it'll be fun to put them sort of more fully through their paces out at the train show. And I have no doubt there'll be a lot of fun to run trains through and should give some interesting track or ways, I guess, that we can transition through track in the display layout. So keep an eye out for videos on that as we head into next weekend and we've got everything set up there. I think it's going to be really cool to see the trains moving through these two track components in particular. And then we've got another view of the Winter Village over there. Really happy with how that's looking. And like I said, it's going to be fun to have the track largely done over there because it'll let us start to move on to other interesting modules to have in and around the Winter Village portion of the layout over there. So lots of fun ahead on that front. And then one last view of the under table layout here. You can see where our lift out bridges are currently. So we've got some work to do around those, but the big thing, like I said, is going to be connecting all of these corner modules into the rest of the modules around the lower level layout here. Should be pretty straightforward for the most part. It's just going to be, a push to get some different parts in. Like I said, we really, mills is expensive on its own right and requires a lot of parts. Putting all the tile work underneath tracks that are getting mounted on mills like this is just really parts intensive as well. So definitely need a lot of 2x2 dark blue gray, 1x2 dark blue gray, and 1x4 dark blue gray, or potentially some other colors as well. We really did a number on the parts storage that we have here in the Lego room. So, in addition to getting these last chunks of parts for getting these things mounted onto mills, we're also going to have to do another pass through restocking some components or sections of our Acro Mills storage wall. We've been doing pretty good with filling a number of gaps, but inevitably, as one does a lot of building, those part totals, find a way to go down again. So, some more things to pick up there to help things out, but really happy with how this is all coming together. And I think it's going to be super awesome to start to see trains moving around through each of these new modules that we've added to the lower level layout. Now, one last thing I think that's worth noting, I'll show you guys the state of the tabletop track layout. We've been doing a good job of getting everything hooked back up and ready to receive running trains again. Obviously, there's lots of hindrances on the track with various orders we've been receiving and the different mills modules that we've been creating, but getting really close and basically hoping tomorrow that we're going to be, through the final stages of moving things off the layout so that we can get back to building and running trains. These last mills modules will come off here. And the big thing at this end over here, like I mentioned, is getting the last Winter Village corner out of here and getting the corner track relayed onto the pre-existing corner module over there, the tan one that we have. So we'll make the big push. There's still a few parts to get tidied up from various Bricklink orders, but getting very close. And from there, we will be pushing through a number of the builds that we want to get done for the upcoming train show and lots of other projects on the go or coming up soon. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of those videos. And thank you guys very much for watching. Really excited about where we are, the progress we've made with the mills modules for the under table layout, and quite excited to see how this next stage comes together with, hopefully very soon a complete loop around the lower level layout with mills underneath everything. So that's it for now. Take care, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks. Bye.